Here are some examples of the binding knot I applied on two of my kerises a while ago. The knot is not as complicated as you might think. It is much more convenient to loosen and tighten without having to worry about undoing the entire knot by mistake. A simple pull on one side of the top loop loosens the knot, and a quick pull at the bottom loop tightens the knot back into place. This knot applies to all keris types, regardless of size. The only difference is the length and width of string or cord that you might need. The bigger and longer the keris, the longer the string length will be. This keris I commissioned from the late brother Syahrun Nizan from the state of Kedah in Malaysia back in 2016. It was completed and delivered to me in December of 2017. Almost 10 years old now. Unfortunately, brother Syahrun passed away in 2018, and I am one of the few collectors left who still owns a piece or two of his masterpieces. Now, if you recall, I did a restoration video on this keris about a few years ago, and today I will use this as an example to apply this binding knot, the Pasung Semangat. For clarity, I will not be explaining the esoteric aspects of this knot in this demonstration video. I will save that for a separate segment. This video will visually demonstrate how to form the loop and the knot. For this demonstration, I will use a modern 550 type paracord with a diameter width of 2 mm. You can use a 3 mm cord as well, but personally I find 2 mm to be just nice for this purpose. 4 mm will be rather thick. You can choose any colors that suits your fancy, and working with a complete roll will be much more easier compared to the one that has been cut at a predefined length. We will start off by tying a small end knot at the end of this paracord. This will serve as a marker and stopper to hold the knot in place. We will start at the neck of the sampir and batang serunai. Position the cord in the center. Now, make a loop about the length of your 4 fingers wrapping around the batang serunai, and proceed to wrap around the neck of the pendoko as shown. Now extend to form a secondary loop below the first loop like a double bowl. Make sure the second loop is longer than the first loop. Adjust accordingly and ensure that it is positioned in the center. Next, we will wrap around along the length of the top part of the batang serunai in a clockwise direction. Ensure the central loops are positioned in the center of the batang serunai. You can wrap around as many wounds as you desire. For me, personally, I will wind 11 times for a short crease like this one, more if it is a longer crease. This is for an aesthetically balanced look. While winding around the length of the batang serunai, ensure the loop and windings are close and has no gaps in between for a neat arrangement. Windings should not be overlapping each other. It should be one below the other. As you wind around the batang serunai, it will start to take into a more pleasing and aesthetically beautiful looking knot. Make slight adjustments to ensure the entire central knot is positioning neatly in the center. It should not move to the left or to the right. You can count how many times you have wind around the batang serunai by counting how many stacks of the cord that you have. Now, once you are satisfied, you can cut off the cord from the roll to separate them. I suggest the length to be about 3/4 the length of the batang serunai, so you still have sufficient extra length to play with for the final adjustments. Now run this end of this cord into the center loop. Once this is done, pull the top string with the end knot you tied earlier. In some Keris cultures, this is deemed completed, but I prefer to make it neater by doing this extra step. I will run the cord with the end knot into the loop here as shown. You will create another additional loop here that can also be used to hang this keris for display on a wall or a hook. And we can now finalize the checks by testing it out. See how securely the keris is now. To loosen, just pull on the left side of the top loop and you should be able to release your keris blade. To secure it, just secure it around the pendoko and pull on the left side of the bottom loop. Finally, we can proceed to tie an end knot on the final string to tidy up the formation. You can adjust in accordance to what suits you. Not necessarily you have to follow my method whereby one is long and the other is short. You can make it all the same length. But for me, I rather have one longer than the other so that I would know which string goes where. Still has room for adjustments if needed, and as you can see, all is almost neat. And if needed, you can dismantle it by reversing the knot loops. Now that I am satisfied with the Pasung Semangat, I will do this final step to adjust. Still has room for adjustments if needed. And as you can see, all is now quite neat and visually pleasing. For me, I will end this step by applying an open flame to the end of the cord end knots to prevent fraying of the cords. Now, do be mindful of this step as you are dealing with an open flame. Do this away from other flammable substances for your safety. are done. This method is by far the neatest and visually pleasing aesthetics compared to many other ways of applying the Pasung Semangat binding knot. Also, the end knot serves as a stopper from the string accidentally unraveling at the wrong pull. This knot also serves as a hand loop that allows you to hold onto your keris securely without fear of accidentally dropping it if you were to lose your grip on it. You can put your hand into the loop as an additional security when carrying around your keris by hand. And this is some method of how to further ensure that your keris blade does not accidentally slip out. And that is how you apply the Pasung Semangat onto your keris.